So this is one of the beginnings, or in a beginning. So in the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth was without form, and it says, and void and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Ruach of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. So we know at this point now there's a flood. There's a flood that's covering the planet Earth, and the set-apart spirit of the Father of Yahuah is actually tabernacling over the earth, or hovering over the earth at this time. The Strong's number 1254. 1254 for the word create. 1258. It means to create, to shape, to form. Always with Elohim as a subject. Of heaven and earth, an individual man. Of new or renewed conditions and circumstances. Of transformation. The Nafal system has the definition as to be created. Of heaven and earth, of birth. Of birth. Now, in order to create now, you have the Hebrew word bara. Creation, or the creation begins at, when does creation begin?
Confirmation.
At confirmation?
That's a confirmation.
Yeah, right. Creation begins in darkness. All right? In darkness. This darkness is associated with the womb, where we have now conception. It's the next stage. After conception, we have light. This process, the darkness, is associated also with the subconscious part of the person. The subconscious mind. If the person can actually think it, it becomes tangible after it's now manifested. So as long as it's not a part of the subconscious, it's in a dark region or in a dark part of the person. And again, once it's now manifested, it now comes into the light. So now, the creation now started in darkness, inside of the womb. There was conception, then it came forth into the light. This is the exact process on how each and every one of us came into existence. It was a thought, it was an idea first, and then we have now the existence. Light represents tangible existence. E-X-I-S-T, where we at? E-N-C-E. All right. Now, so the process of shaping, creating, and forming, according in context of Genesis 1:1, this process happens when? It happens in the night. So the second principle in the recreation story sprung from the darkness. Question: what was the second principle according to Genesis 1:1? What was the second principle? What was the first principle? Huh. Yeah, this is a lot of science with this here. But it's simplified in Scripture. So the first principle was darkness. Right? That was the first darkness. What was the second principle?
Light.
Right, because the darkness came out of the light. That's the second. Just want to make sure everybody's keeping up. The book of Psalms, 92, verses 1 through 2. Somebody can read that. I've been calling on you all day. I don't think I had. I think I had a dream about you this week. Okay, if you could read that for me, Psalms 92, 1 through 2. Let me also get it. It's the book of Psalms 92. We're almost done, Mr. 92, verses 1 and 2.
Let me know when you get there.
Okay, read the prologue also. Yeah, please.
Nehemiah chapter 92, verses 1 and 2. A psalm or song for the Sabbath day.
For which day?
The Sabbath day.
Okay, hallelujah.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahuah, and to sing praise unto thy name, O Most High. To shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night.
Okay, now, we have to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness in the night or every night. Now, which process happened first? Was it the morning or the light? Because we're supposed to show forth thy loving kindness to the Father in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Which process happened first? Come on, everybody here is a super scholar. That is very easy. Let me read it again, no tricks. If we've been paying attention, this is a song for the Shabbat day. It is a good, because I read this last week. I don't know if anybody remember. Okay, it is a good thing to give thanks unto the Father of Yahuah and to sing praises to the name of the Father, Yahuah. To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. My argument now is that this process, the way that it's written, we have morning first and then we have evening or night. But in sequence, we're going to show that there's something key here that lets us know that the night comes first.
It says in the morning.
Huh?
It says in the morning, so that would imply that you're in darkness if it's something coming in the morning.
Right. There we go. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There we go. There we go. Hallelujah. So we don't have to go into any detail because we just have.
Say that again.
Like if you said you were going to do something in the morning, that would mean that you would not be in morning now. So it means you'd either be in like an afternoon or nighttime, or the time previous, because you're talking about doing it coming up, like in the morning or in the time to come. So it's not quite there yet. So it must be prior to
So
that.
who's saying that?
David on the Psalms.
He prayed in the morning and then at night. So you said whenever he was saying this, it was probably more afternoon, is what you're saying?
Or more at night, like in the evening time.
Right. Yeah. It's just like a preparation. Like tomorrow, I'm going to prepare to go to work.
Right.
And so now there's something that what part of the day, and we're going to show this in scripture, what part of the day are you in at this present moment where you're now talking about a future event that's about to happen?
That's what you said that David is saying.
Okay, but read it. We have,
This is David talking, right?
right, this is, I think David stops at, is it 89? I think David's psalm stops at 89, if I'm not mistaken. But it is written in the book of Psalms. So let's do it this way. It's written in the book of Psalms. In 92 it says, it's a good thing to give thanks unto the Father of Yahuah and to sing praises unto the name of the Father. To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, okay, and thy faithfulness every night. Let's break it down, okay? The word that I was actually looking for is the word faith. right? Because we had the word faithfulness, right? So, and without help me out here now, the fullness, the ness, that's like the when you add words at the end of the word that is called
Suffix.
The suffix, right? Suffix, right? So faith is the Hebrew word emunah. Faith without works is dead, right? Let's go to the book of Romans 1:17. Terrell, if you can read that for me, please. Romans 1:17.
For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith.
And if you can do Galatians 3:11, please. Book of Galatians 3:11.
But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of God. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith.
Right. What I'm trying to share here now is that faith is the substance of things not seen but hoped for. Whenever you deal with faith, it is not tangible at the moment. Faith is something that you hope for. When you look at Psalms, the 92nd chapter, it says now, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, there's something that you're going to be doing in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night. Watch this. Isaiah 21:12. 21:12. We're going to come back to Psalms 92, verses 1 to 2.
I got a question.
Because what I should have done is before I asked that question, I should have been fair and read the other three verses to give you a better, that way you could maybe answer the question better, but Ezekiel saw it early, yes.
So, playing what you're saying like faith comes first, and that represents light. So the kindness comes after you show your faith.
Right.
It comes in the morning.
Exactly, because remember, Abraham was justified by his faith. And Abraham, he hoped to be able to see the things that the Father promised him. But it was a shadow. It was in darkness. It wasn't tangible. Abraham, your wife Sarah will have a son. But it's not there yet. It's not in existence. So the creation, or the thought pattern, begins in darkness first. Everything. Abraham was justified by his faith. Blessed are those that have not seen versus those that have seen. Because it's easy to convince a person of something if he can see it. I want to really know if you really believe it now if I tell you about it and it happens now later on in the future. Because remember now, even the process with faith, faith is the substance not seen but hoped for. Sarah laughed when it was told to her that she would actually have a child at that age because she has passed the age of childbearing. But to actually now have faith in the Father that the thing that is not tangible will come into existence, that's the person that gets the reward. You see how it works? It must start. Everything must start in darkness first. Take, for example, even with the new moon. A lot of people do the new moon, they say the first sliver. When you at this point at the first sliver, it's now left the dark stage. It's left that stage. Once it's now in this first sliver mode, it is now waxing. It's now waxing, so this could not be a new moon. It would have to be the dark moon, because the darkness of the moon now can happen. This gets to something else. But remember when Solomon, not was Solomon, it was David and Jonathan, and this whole thing was Saul, and David had missed the new moon twice, 2 days in a row. But this was based upon not upon the two phases of the slivers of the moon, but upon the two dark stages of the moon. And we get into that a little bit later, but I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible. The darkness is first, and we're going to show this a little bit more in Scripture. Isaiah 21:12, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more scriptures, and we'll be done. Isaiah 21:12. Isaiah 21:12, and we will call it a wrap. We pick it up next week. 21:12. The watchman said, the morning cometh, and also the night. If you will inquire, you will return, come. The watchman said, the morning cometh. Where is the watchman? What is the stage like now when the watchman is watching? Right. So you don't really need a watchman during the day. The thief usually comes at night. And we'll go into a little bit later now where we talk about how many watches. But we have here now, 21:12, the watchman said, the morning cometh, and also the night. If you will inquire, return, come. Ezra 3:3. Book of Ezra 3:3. Almost done, and we'll take some questions if there be any. Ezra 3:3. I'm going to read 1 and 3. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Yashra'al were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. Then stood up Joshua the son of Zodak and his brethren, the priests, and Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and built the altar of Elohim of Israel to offer burnt offerings thereon. And it was written in the law of Moses, the man of Elohim. And they set the altar upon his basin, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. And they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the sovereign, even burnt offerings, morning and evening. Morning and evening. Now, Psalms 55:16. Then we'll take questions if there be any. Psalms 55, 16, and 17. As for me, I will call upon Yahuah Elohim, and Yahuah will save me evening and morning, and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. I found this interesting where we have a formula being said here. We have now evening. The way that it's outlined in Genesis, we have evening. After the evening, we have the morning. And like Emmanuel had brought out now, and then we have the after. Then we have noon. And noon is what time?
3 p.m.
What time?
3 p.m.
Noon.
The actual 12.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, 12. So anything after 12 now would be evening, right? That's right? We good? Bro, we good?
No. So you're saying anything after 12, is that PM or AM?
PM.
Anything after 12 PM would be evening, correct?
Right. So 12 is noon. And then anything now, because now the day begins to wane, so it's now evening. And so once the sun falls completely below the horizon, it's completely dark, we now have a new day. But this new day, we're going to show this in a few minutes, this new day starts at evening, nighttime. We're going to show that. Deuteronomy 24:15. 3 more scriptures. 24:15. Shalak, if you can read that for me, please. 24:15. Deuteronomy.
At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it. For he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto Yahuah, and it be sin unto thee.
Right, so he should be giving us wages before what part of the day?
Sundown.
Before the sun goes down. Why before the sun goes down? If a man is working throughout the day, because a day consists of, let's say, we already broke down before, we go a little bit later on about how many hours is in a day, but just to make it easy, if there's 24 hours in a day, hypothetically, and if there's 12 hours of nighttime, and there's 12 hours of daytime. This portion and this portion, the two halves make a whole. One day. If man is sleeping during the night portion, and he's working during the day portion, at the end of the day, he should receive his wages, because at night we begin another day. We're going to show some more of that in the scripture. Let's go to the book of Daniel. If we can get, Shalak, if you could do 8th chapter, verses 13 and 14. And then we have one more scripture, and we will be done. We will pick it up next week.
Daniel chapter 8.
Let me get it, please. We can follow all with you. The book of Daniel, 8th chapter, 13 and 14. Just erase this here. Watch, just pay very close attention right here, because this, for me, seems to be, in today's lesson, there's a whole lot more. This is like the ceiling. 15? Okay, all right. 8, 13, and 14.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel chapter 8, 13 and 14. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint, which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
How many days?
2,300 days.
All right. That's 2,300 days. And who was speaking to Daniel?
Listen, Melech.
Yep. So we have a messenger of Yahuah speaking to Daniel. He's telling Daniel about, we just read it. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spoke, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? Let's go to verse 26, if you can read that, please.
Okay. Verse 26. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days.
Right, so we have here Daniel being given instructions from a messenger of Yahuah. A messenger of Yahuah. And he's supposed to now count these days of desolation, and it's for 2,300 days. What is the order that the messenger of Yahuah is giving Daniel on how to count? Huh? Evening into until the morning. My argument is that, where do we go from there? If a messenger is telling you, listen, you know what? This is about to take fold, it's about to happen, and listen, it's going to happen in 2,300 days from now, and you ask the messenger of Yahuah, okay, how do you now count these days? And he's reciting to you now how the count originally started back in Genesis 1:1, and he's telling you the count from evening to morning. Where did we get midnight and morning from? My argument now is that if we was to do it this way, you're going to miss this count of 2,300 days. Exodus, the 23rd chapter. We just running out of time. Let's do it this way. Are there any questions with anything?
Yeah, there's one question on Facebook by Shalom Yel. He wants to know what is considered the heat of the day.
The heat of the day would be the morning. We have the Father in the book of Genesis when we have the word dark. The darkness the Father called Layel. He called it Koshek. See what's any other words he called it. He called it Layel, because as we say Layetol. So we have the word Koshek, the word evening, because the darkness would be like the afternoon. The darkness is like the cool of the day. And everybody knows, the temperature drops at night. The word even is a Hebrew word, areb. So when the morning comes up, we have the word just areb. We have the word light we had talked about. That's the Hebrew word. We have the aleph, we have the u, and we have the resh. And that's or. We have the word or. We have the word morning that is talked about in Genesis 1:1. See the I think like 1:4, but the word morning is actually bukar or boker. And that means morning. So in the morning now, it would be called, as the morning grows to the noon time, it's usually getting hotter. The temperature usually starts to rise.